Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about specifically a new trend that is happening in South Korea. So, South Korea is transitioning to a new leader, and that leader is fashioning himself as a man of the people. Right? He's saying, "I'm not a politician. I am. I'm one of you." Right? And so everybody says that, right? And you're like, oh, that's cute. Another politician squawking nonsense, right? But you know what this new leader is doing? He just announced that in South Korea, the Blue House, which is the South Korean equivalent of the White House, would not be used. And that he would create essentially a new. Now, this is a big deal because people, in Washington, D.C., I don't know if you've been to Washington, D.C., I've been to Washington, D.C. quite a bit. And there is a ton of money, right? And a whole lot of millionaires, lobbyists, lawyers, corporate executives who live, government contract executives, got people who are in charge of government contracts. There's just tons of money there around the White House, right? Because that's where the leader of the free world is, President Joe Biden, right? And so what this sole leader is saying is, I'm coming in and I'm making a break from politicians. And you know how I'm going to communicate this? I'm not going to use the Blue House. I'm going to create essentially and everybody's like, if you don't use the Blue House and you just use your regular house, like you're going to create a new capital, right? A new economic capital for Korea. And people are they're frightened about this, right? They're like, whoa, this is a major change, right? And the reason why I'm really fascinated about this is I think this is brilliant, right? So one of the things is I'm convinced one of the things we're moving toward is the end of politicians in the presidency, right? And I think this should happen because I think going forward, absolutely nothing is more important than communication, okay? And the reality is putting the person who knows best and the person who can communicate it best into the same role is just amateur hour, right? Vladimir Putin's doing it right now. Like he knows a lot about politicians. He's a very real politician, right? But he knows, like, it's so clear. Vladimir Putin knows absolutely nothing about communication. He could not have communicated his desires to his own people in a worse way, and his communication to the global community has been catastrophic, right? And so going forward, it's only celebrity presidents going forward, so that whatever America decides in its Senate and its House, where I'm perfectly happy to have politicians there, but not in the lead point, because the president, a lot of it is their vision, where they're pointing, all those kind of things. America follows its president. It really does. It goes where the president points. If you don't think that's true, just look at 2016 to 2022, right? People followed where President Trump pointed, right? Problem is, the reason why you don't see strong leadership or strong direction right now is Joe Biden doesn't point anywhere. He stays in place and he keeps his hands, on his knees, right? He's not pointing anywhere. That's why America isn't going anywhere, right? He has not pointed us to anything, right? In fact, really, I think one of the issues we're having right now with President Biden is, more than anything, we have no direction, no momentum, because he's a lot more concerned about what America doesn't do than what it does. That's one of the issues, right? That's why we're getting so stuck. But I absolutely love this idea of abandoning the White House, right? And saying not every president has to use the White House, right? They could say, hey, here's my house in Chippewa, Kansas, and this is where I'll call in 8 people every day. We'll sit at the counter and at the kitchen table, right? And people are like, whoa, but the reality is, that's what America wants. They want a person they trust who's like them, right? They don't want these people who don't know the price of milk and have a yacht and three houses, right? And so the current transitioning leader into South Korea gets this and is turning down the Blue House. That's real. That is a real action that communicates, I genuinely, actually, am not a politician. I'm one of you. I'm the one honest citizen right? This is NBC and MSNBC's description of the movie Dave, which is the reality we're trying to create, right? And which is the one, and actually, it's the reality we're witnessing for another country, right? One honest citizen who turns out to be a better leader than countless politicians. That's what Zelensky is, right? He doesn't need to prove to his people that he loves them. You know how he's proven to his people every day that he loves them? By remaining in a nation that's under constant siege and refusing to leave, and serving with them and serving them, and saying, I will pay the 10-pint price for every single one of you, right? And that is a global hero. Whereas when we look over at President Joe Biden, what we see is him witnessing absolutely catastrophic, what he says are war crimes. He has already said, I think Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. He said, yes, I think that. So he is saying, I am witnessing war crimes. It's not enough to move me to action. I am unmoved for the people of Ukraine. That is just shocking, right? And it's just, you look at your life, and I'm really worried about the next 5 years where we as a people look and say, we watched while global villainy just swept across the earth, and we learned nothing from the 1940s, right? It is horrendous, and I weep for the guilt that we're going to feel, that rather than saying those Ukrainian people are human beings and they deserve a respite from utter, brutal, unprovoked, and these are Biden's words, unprovoked and unjustified attacks, which Biden has confirmed he thinks are war crimes, right? We just watched. It is horrendous, right? It's horrendous. It is, as a nation, we are displaying incredible cowardice, right? And it's just, and this is where we're at. So I think where we need to land is we need to understand one of the biggest lessons we must learn is never, ever, ever put a politician in the presidency again. This is very, very important. They have to come from among us, right? Among us, as my son would say. Among us. It has to be one of us, right? Not an imposter, right? And that's the issue, is we have imposters in the presidency. We need someone who's genuine and real, right? And right now, it's going to be hard to get there, right? Right now, I think we're going to get a lot closer from a celebrity, right? And I definitely understand a celebrity is still one step removed, right? But they're not so callous and heartless, and the celebrities are not useless. The ability to communicate is more powerful today than ever. That's my opinion, right? What would you think of our next president saying, forget the White House, I'm going to be sitting in Calabasas, Florida, wherever it is, wherever they decide to go from, right? I think this is a great idea. I would love for whatever president to come in to abandon the White House and leave it empty. And then going forward, right, your kitchen room table is the conference room, right? That's where we need to go as Americans. It is, we need to get back to our roots and have people with character leading. And I think kitchen table leadership is a great path to that. That's my opinion. Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.